The 652nd edition of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code MMA SGPN to score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
Howdy ho, degenerinos. Welcome to episode 652 of the MMA Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Oh, going out to Ian Weishart, one of our friends on YouTube who enjoys our small event coverage. So thank you, Ian. Hopefully you are subscribed, and hopefully everyone listening is and are watching is subscribed as well. This is not a small event episode. This is UFC 306. So actually, I said the name wrong already. We just started. It's UFC 306. UFC 306, Amali versus Dvalishvili, Riyadh season, Noche UFC, brought to you by the UFC, a part of what's that company that they're a part of?
Endeavor?
No, there's something else too.
Something else now.
Oh crap! What are they a part of?
TKO Holdings.
TKO, yes, a part of TKO Holdings, a subsidiary of Endeavor. And it's regulated by the Nevada State Athletic Commission. I think that's what the event's called.
I think that's what it's called officially on the pay-per-view, yes.
Yes, I butchered it already. I'm Jeff Chalks Fox. I'm one of the butchers things. And the other voice chiming in, the handsome side of your screen on YouTube is Daniel Gumby-Vreeland. Everyone say hi. Hi.
And since I'm the handsome one, I will remind you guys to subscribe to us on YouTube. Jeff just did so, but it always helps when we mention it again. Even if you don't like the notifications and knowing you get a new episode all the time, you can just do it, turn the notifications off, and we appreciate the subscriber support.
And if you subscribe, then you can make stupid comments on about how we're going to make everyone lose money on a video that we went I went 9-3 and you went 8-4. Yeah. We had a plus 215 dog, and people are bitching about us making people lose money,
people,
which is
not people,
strange.
person.
Well, then someone joined in. They went 0-5 in Contender Series.
Yeah.
Which you did.
No, I didn't. I went 1-4 that time. Yeah. And I went 2-2 in this last one. So you win some, you lose some. If you're an angry person in the comment, you lose every time.
and they have dumb in their name too. Nice. No joke. So that maybe I shouldn't even read that. But I just mentioned that because it brings us to a quick recap of last week's, because we didn't do that. I went 9-3. I won $273. Got me 8-4. I won 117. Both hit a plus 215 dog. We were both in on 3 plus 200 dogs. All we needed is one of them to come through, and one of them came through for us. So, Mr. Taco. So it was a Taco episode, and Taco went through for us. So I'm at 63% on the year. Gummy's at 57%. Gummy's getting that number up there. I'm up $2,200 on Gumby, but
okay, there's still time.
Is there really still time though?
You said that last time, and I caught you, didn't I?
I am way up on the locks. I'm up like $600 in the locks, but then Gummy's beating me slightly on dogs, beating me a lot on the props. You're up like $700 in the props. So
yeah, I had a good year on props for sure. Yeah.
You're only hitting like 5% more, but you've hit the big ones. So our consensus, we are up money on consensus, which is good. I'm way up money on dogs. I'm up like $400 on dogs. You're down. So all these.
I thought you said I was beating you on dogs.
Sorry. Dog. Yes. Dog of the week. Yes, but just underdogs in general on the cards. You're down a lot.
Yeah, stick with the ones I'm confident in. That's
exactly. I'm up a lot, but still, the whole chalks thing doesn't really pan out when I'm up money on dogs now, does it? But anyhow,
good for you.
Good for me. I'm so proud. I'm also proud of being a part of this SGPN network. And I'm proud to let you know the NFL and college football are in full swing, as if you didn't know. Make sure you're subscribing to the Sports Gambling Podcast, the Bosses Podcast, and the College Football Experience for free picks for every game against the spread. Obviously, you can get that on every podcast catcher, and of course, YouTube. When you're smashing the subscribe button for us, fix your subscribe button and then smash it again for the Bosses Podcast, and then fix it and then smash it again for College Football Experience. Okay. All right, we're just going to call it UFC 306. We're not going to do the stupid Riyadh garbage. And this is Dana White's folly is what we should be calling this, because apparently UFC, from what I've been reading, they're going to lose a lot of money on this event, it seems.
I don't know if they're going to lose a lot of money.
Yeah, because they had to get Saudis to come in and bail them out. So maybe
I think the Saudis. I think when you look at sponsorships and stuff like that, they're fine anyway. Like, I think they thought they were going to clean up more.
Yeah.
But I think they're fine.
Yep. We don't really care about that because we don't get a cut of any of that money anyhow. We're not stockholders in Endeavor.
Not
No.
yet.
You are?
No.
Okay. I was going to say, you're a stockholder in Endeavor? Not that it can't matter either way, but all right. This is the event we're covering. It's 10 fights, which is perfect if you ask me. 5 prelims, 5 main card. They can make every event that. Do 2 events a week, even if you want. We don't need 7-hour fight. They'll probably drag this out somehow, make it 7 hours anyhow. But this
there's going to be videos in between.
Oh yeah, well, I can't wait.
That.
Can't wait to scrub. Can't wait to scrub through the movies. All right, you get to see on the poster what a great nose Merab Dvalishvili has. He's been hit a few times in that there nose. Yeah, it's all over the place. So this is going down Saturday, of course. 7:30 p.m. is when we're kicking things off on pay-per-view. The pay-per-view portion is at 10 o'clock. Today is all about the prelims, with one early prelim technically, and then regular prelims after that. So the early prelims 7:30, regular prelims 8 p.m. And we're going to jump into it. This is, of course, in the Sphere in Las Vegas with a 10-bout card. We're kicking things off. It's a Mexican heavy card, not surprisingly, or a Latin-speaking fighter heavy card. Raul Rosas Jr., United States. Aoriqileng from China. This is 3 5-minute rounds at 135 pounds. We're going to tell you about Aoriqileng first. The Mongolian murderer, 25-11 with 1 no contest, 7 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted 3 times, 2-3 with 1 no contest in the UFC, 3-1 with 1 no contest over his last 5. The no contest stemmed from his last fight. Used to fight at down at flyweight, up at featherweight, regional champion, 2 inches of reach over Rosas, better striking stats and 4 times more active lightning strikes than Rosas is. He has been outstruck, though. He does get hit far more often than Rosas. He's been outstruck by 0.72 strikes per minute in the UFC. He's at plus 525. El Nino Problemo, the problem child. Raul Rosas Jr., 9-1 with 2 knockouts, 6 submissions. Never been finished in a fight. 3-1 in the UFC. He's won 2 straight, both via finish. 1-0 contender series, 1-1 in pro grappling. 2 inches height over Aori. 11 years younger than him, as he is over most people he fights, at the very least. He's been outstruck, but just barely in the UFC and contender series by 0.29 strikes per minute. Minus 750. We start things off with the biggest number of the night. I have a feeling we're Gumby's headed here. Let's let Gumby see if I am correct here or not. Go ahead.
Raul Rosas Jr. easily.
Okay. I was thinking. I was thinking you weren't really big. I didn't know. I was thinking you're not really big on him, and this is a massive number. So you never know with you.
I'm not really big on him. I will say here's what I like about him. I do like in his last fight, he fought a guy who I think very highly of in terms of his scrambling abilities, our favorite Galaxy Brain. And not only did he take him down, but he took him down and wouldn't let him scramble. And that to me was an actual feather in his cap versus the like cupcake fights they had given him leading up to that. And then when you add in the fact that Aoriqileng has been taken down by guys who, both haven't hung around the UFC and or maybe wrestling isn't the first thing that comes to the mind. Like maybe that wrestling's the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Johnny Munoz, right? Kid Kavembo. He took him down 4 times and had good control in that fight. And then, Jay Perrin took him down 3 or 4 times too. Like, and maybe Jay Perrin, my first thought isn't like, beast mode wrestler or something like that. But like Aoriqileng gets taken down a lot. He throws a lot of kicks to the body. He does a lot of, he does a lot of things with his stance switching, and it's not like a full switch, but like his feet get kind of close together, or kind of shoulder even. And Raul Rosas Jr. is just going to exploit that. He's going to take him down 1 time. He's going to get the rear naked choke. This one's going to be over. So Raul Rosas Jr. clearly the pick here for me.
And we got a Kid Kavembo reference in there, which is always nice. Yeah, Rosas is my pick as well. Striking is getting a bit better, but that's obviously not where his bed is. His bed. You don't butter your bed where his bread is buttered, and not what he relies on. And even still, he gets hit way less than Aori does. So yeah, I think he's going to get this to the ground, as Gummy said, and take care of things. Do you see him finishing this one? He's finished 2 straight, or do you see him grinding?
I do. I just don't see a lot of value on his side right here. Obviously the big number next to the money line, but also, if you're looking in terms of props, I mean, like I think I saw his submission prop is like negative 155. I don't know that I want to, lay that kind of money on a prop like that. And then, Aoriqileng has been sub 3 times in his career. Of the 4 times he's been finished, 3 of them are subs. So like, Yeah, that's probably the side, and yeah, not terribly enticing number.
Yeah, I see 165 is the best. Minus 165 for
Brutal.
Junior to win. So yeah, not so hot here. So we'll start things off with that's about as chalky as you get. Not as actually we had a chalky one last week. I guess we had what 11 minus 1100. I think is when we recorded is what we got. What we got the why am I blanking on his name? What's his name, Gumby?
Bulgarian?
Yes, Bulgarian.
He wound up at negative 2,500.
Yeah, we got a deal. We got a steal of a deal there. All right, let's move on. This fight I had overlooked until about an hour before we recorded. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm missing a fight here. So actually, no, not this one. One after this. Next one we're going to talk about is Edgar Cháirez from Mexico versus Joshua Van from Myanmar. Is it right? Yes, Myanmar. This is a featherweight, flyweight fight. Excuse me, 3 5-minute rounds. We're going to tell you about Cháirez first. Puro Chikali. Do we know what that means? Have we talked about what that means?
I don't off the top of my head.
It means pure something. He's pure Chikali is what it means, I guess, right?
There
Whatever
it is.
Chikali is.
There it is. You got it.
As I choked myself to death. He is 11-5, Mr. Cháirez, with 1 no contest. Let me get my spreadsheet properly here. Here we go. 4 knockouts, 7 submissions. He's been submitted twice. 1-1 with 1 no contest in the UFC. 3-1 with 1 no contest over his last 5. 1 his last fight via submission. Missed weight before 0-1 Contender Series. Regional champion. 2 inches height, 6 inches reach over Van, so he's going to be much bigger. He's been outstruck in the UFC by in Contender Series by 1.41 strikes per minute, plus 190, much closer than our opener. The fearless Joshua Van. He has taken us a short notice, so he is being quite fearless. Just got knocked out a little over a month and a half ago, 2 months. He's 10-2, 6 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's been knocked out once, submitted once. This, like as I said, short notice fight for him. 3-1 in the UFC, 8-1 over his last 9. Got knocked out in his last fight, as I said. Regional champion, 5 years younger than Cháirez. Better striking stats, 3 times more active landing strikes. Better grappling stats, and he's outstruck his UFC opponents by 2.21 strikes per minute, minus 205. Short notice thing is a concern, obviously, for me, as it always is. The fact that he's just coming off a knockout, I'm talking about Van, of course. The fact that he's just coming off a knockout is a concern as well, but he's just way better than Cháirez. Cháirez has had multiple fights with Daniel Marquez. So what more do you need to hear than that? So Van is my pick here, but yeah, I'm not feeling super strong on it.
Do you mean Daniel Lacerda?
Oh yeah, sorry, Daniel Lacerda.
Daniel Marquez.
Yes, he's good.
Yeah, that's a different. I'm also going Joshua Van here. I think this is a buy low spot for him for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I expected him to be a bigger favorite. Not only am I not terribly concerned about him bouncing back really quick because he's like young and he seems to be very good at cardio and pace and all that kind of stuff. But also like he's fighting a guy who's not going to knock him out.
Yeah.
Edgar Cháirez is not known for his knockout power, known for, wanting to turn things into a slog and grind and shoot the takedowns. And then with Joshua Van, his biggest attribute is his pace and his cardio. So like going in there against the guy who might fail on a couple of takedowns and start to tire a little bit, I think you're going to see Joshua Van just build as this fight goes. Like it seems like a tailor-made fight to get him back into the win column. It's interesting that it sort of fell in his lap as a replacement fighter because it is like actually the kind of fight the UFC would have tried to give him to get him back in the win column because they seem to like him. He seems to be a hot prospect for them. So I expect him to hit those takedowns or to stop those takedowns, rip the body, and I think you're going to see an exhausted Edgar Cháirez by the late second round.
Excellent. That's what we hope to see. We like Joshua Van, and we like him at the number here. So, all right. Before we move on, I need to tell you about Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Fantasy Pick'em gives you a chance to win 1,000 times your entry. The NFL is back, and there are a ton of Pick'em specials to get you started. Plus, great action for college football. Their lobby is jam-packed with profit boosts and no sweat entries. Plus, you can now use special boosts on all flexed entries. Do you have a play for us, Gumby? Is it?
Yeah. You're probably not going to get this before the Wednesday games are over. And I know that he's not playing on Thursday, but get in on some Ketel Marte on Friday. Ketel Marte back from the injured list, currently tearing things up, and a guy who you want to get in on his total basis.
There you go. Cattell Marte is the play, as is that rhyme. Sign up with our code MMASGPN to claim your special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Fantasy.com, promo code MMASGPN. And now on to the show. Now, this is the fight I totally overlooked until about an hour ago. I'm glad I went back through my spreadsheet and updated all the odds and stuff. I'm like, hey, I'm missing Yazmin Jauregui from Mexico and Ketlen Souza from Brazil. This is the strawweight bout, 3 5-minute rounds if needed. Tell you about the Brazilian first, Souza. Esquintadina. I've said it before, and I'm butchering it anyhow. Esquintadina means
tiny dancer.
Hot-headed is what it comes.
Not even close.
I don't get the tiny. Yeah, it has tiny at the end of it though. But
it's just hot. Yeah, it's the tiny hot head. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. She's 14-4. 8 knockouts, 1 submission. This hot head of hers. 2 knockouts, 2 submissions. So she's been knocked out twice, submitted twice. 1-1 in the UFC, 6-1 over her last 7, including winning her last fight after dropping her UFC debut. She's fed up at flyweight, not at bantamweight. I think last fight was the first fight she was at strawweight, at least recently. 2-0 Invicta and the champion there at flyweight. Multi-regional championships on her.
Cancel.
Correct. Get the shirt. sportsgamblingpockets.com/store. Get sticky. And things have gotten sticky in our Discord again, which is fun.
It's
to see,
sticky
right?
again. Yeah.
Too, which is unreal. And you'll get in our Discord. And then you'll know what we're talking about. sportsgamblingpockets.com/Discord. She's got striking stats in her favor over Jauregui and grappling stats. And she has outstruck her UFC opponents by 2.75 strikes per minute, which is a very, very healthy number. Plus 380. They're not impressed, despite all that on her resume. Jauregui, 11-1 with 7 knockouts. She's been knocked out once. 3-1 in the UFC, won her last fight, was a regional champion, used to fight up at flyweight. An inch of reach, 5 years younger than Souza, more active landing strikes than Souza. She also has outstruck her UFC opponents by 1.14 strikes per minute, minus 450. Another massive line here, Gubby.
Yeah, and I think I'm still going Jauregui. I think the problem here with Souza is, first of all, those numbers wildly inflated by fighting Marnik Man in her second fight.
Her only win, yeah.
Yeah, where she outstruck her like 3-1. But also, it's worth noting, she gave up multiple takedowns to Marnik Man and spent 3 minutes in bottom control, which is not a great look, especially because Marnik Man is was she 5-0 and just like not a ton of reach. So like, know what she needs to do. She needs to get on the inside, and Souza had a really tough time stopping that. And for me, Jauregui, first of all, I think she strikes way better at distance than Ketlen Souza. And I think when she's in the clinch, I also think she's dangerous with what she does there in terms of the knees and the elbows and, her ability to hold people in places. So I like Jauregui pretty much any way she wants. Despite the fluky loss to, was it Denise Gomes who threw the overhand, right? And
yeah, knocked her out.
Which is, Denise Gomes has done twice now, right? It's like kind of fluky wins like that. And like, I think she's being written off a little bit there, but then again, her odds are in the negative 400, so she's not being written off too much. But I'll take Jauregui here.
Denise Gomes catching strays for no reason whatsoever, but Jauregui is my pick as well here. She's still on the come up, and she's a little questionable competition, definitely in her last fight. So not a fan of the line though. That's for damn sure. I was kind of surprised it was that lopsided when I broke down this fight an hour ago. All right, we're moving on.
I think that's right around what it should be. Okay. And like, it's not going to change your parlays terribly as it gets higher and higher towards fight time. But if like you snuck one in right now and threw her in there, I don't think she doesn't feel like a parlay buster here.
Yeah. All right. The co-main event of the prelims. Manuel Torres from Mexico. Ignacio Bahamondes, not from Mexico. He is from Chile. This is 3 5-minute rounds if they need it, 155 pounds. And I'm going to tell you about Bahamondes La Hula. The Cage is the nickname. 15-5, 10 knockouts, 1 submission. He's been submitted twice, 4-2 in the UFC, 4-1 over his last 5, won his last fight via TKO. He's missed weight twice at 155, so keep an eye on that. Let me see the stats. Missed weight stats.
It's been a while since he's missed.
Yeah, it has been a while. Yeah. Fighting with weight tend to lose some. Just know that. 1-0 in Contender Series. Used to fight at 170. Regional champion, 5 inches taller as he is most of the time over his opponents. 2 inches of reach. 2 years younger than Torres. He's outstruck his Contender Series and UFC opponents by 2.77 strikes per minute, plus 110. Finally, some good lines here. El Loco, the crazy Torres, 15-5, 7 knockouts, 7 submissions. He's been submitted twice. 3-0 in the UFC, 6-0 over his last 6, all via finish. He's not lost since September 2019. 1-0 Contender Series. regional champion, used to fight down at featherweight, 2014 pro MMA debut, better striking stats, more active landing strikes, better grappling stats. He's outstruck his UFC opponents and contender series points by almost 5 strikes a minute, 4 plus 4.99, minus 118. I like Torres here. I like this fight, period. I like both these fighters, but I like Torres. He's on a tear. He's going to be better on the feet. He's a finisher on the feet. Basically, actually, the only way he's been stopped is via submission, and Bahamondes is not going to do that to him. So I like Torres.
Bahamondes does have a Bravo choke in his UFC career, worth noting, and is actually pretty damn good from the front headlock. Yeah, pretty damn good from the front headlocks position as well. I'm going to go Bahamondes here. I like him as a dog for a bunch of reasons. First of all, I can't believe you're looking down height, reach, and youth like that. It's
I know that's definitely an issue. Definitely an issue.
Yeah, it's uncharacteristic of Jeff Fox to look the other way on somebody who's got height, reach, and youth. And for me, Bahamondes, 2 things I like about that. First of all, he uses his reach better than the 2 inches you're going to see here. Both because he's taller, which means he's got a little bit more effective range in terms of fighting. And also just because he hides behind his jab really well. You know, if you watch Torres is a guy who winds up on his shots and wants to throw big and wants to knock people out, and it's worked for him. So that's good. But Bahamondes is a guy who both has a good chin and kind of stays away from the bombs pretty well using that reach. You know, you look at the 2 fights he has lost in the UFC. One of them was to Ludovic Klein. That dude hits like a damn truck. He took the best shots that he had. And then he went to war with John McDessie in his debut, all the way back when he made his debut. A fight I arguably think he won, and still, you know, at that same token, like took the best shots McDessie, who's a pretty damn good kickboxer, had to offer. So I like his chin. I like his reach. I like his footwork. I like the fact that, you know, he went in there last fight against the guy who just throws bombs and picked him apart and, you know, bloodied up his face. I think he does the same thing here to Torres. And if I'm going to get plus money, I'm going to like it even more.
Yep. Very, very true. The fact that Torres lost to Carlos Calvo is a bit of a concern as well, right?
I don't know who that is, but
I just saw that name. That's good name.
Calvo.
Carlos Calvo. Yes. In the Mexican regional scene. Yep. And Gumby doesn't know who it is. So.
Was that the heel hook or the knee bar? Knee bar. Yeah.
Gumby knows. See, he doesn't know.
He's been leg locked twice. I know that.
Mahatma Garcia got him with the heel hook. So there you go.
Mahatma Gandhi?
No, Mahatma Garcia, the other Mahatma.
Okay.
The Mexican Mahatma.
Mahatma.
There's an episode title right there for you. All right. Before we move on to the main event of the prelims, I got to tell you about a new sponsor, BetUS. We are brought to you by BetUS. Bet with the best in the business, BetUS. BetUS has been around for more than 40 years. Bet anywhere. BetUS is available in tons of locations, including internationally. That would be me. BetUS has a massive props menu, same game parlays, and some of the best boosts in the business, plus an all new live betting experience. Easily deposit using cryptocurrency and get lightning fast payouts. Check it all out. They've got UFC. You can get some good UFC lines there. Obviously, use our link to sign up and you get a 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. So you got to go to sportsgamblingpockets.com/betus. That's sportsgamblingpockets.com/betus. And then they'll know that we sent you there. BetUS, America's favorite sports book. And of course, we are still brought to you by Rhythm. Have you ever wanted to create your own sports betting model for football? Do you even know what a sports betting model is? SGPN's proud partner, Rhythm, is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom predictive betting models in seconds and get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, and props. Build your own model, copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or press build a model for me, and Rhythm gives you predictions for every game and player prop. It also has a myriad of stats, research, and trend analysis to give you even more betting insights. Claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpockets.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpockets.com/RITHMM. I shouldn't rush through the most important part now, should I? All right, main event time. It's a female bantamweight fight. Irene Aldana, Mexico. Norma Dumont, Brazil. 3 5-minute rounds. If they need it, we'll tell you about the immortal Norma Dumont. 11-2 with 2 submissions. She's been knocked out once. 7-2 in the UFC. She's won 4 straight. Has not lost since May of 2022. Used to fight up at featherweight. Has missed weight before at bantamweight, so keep an eye on that. 2 years younger than Aldana. Better striking stats than Aldana as well. She's outstruck her opponents in the UFC by 1.22 strikes per minute, plus 100, even money. Aldana, 15-7, 8 knockouts, 3 submissions. She's been knocked out twice, 8-5 in the UFC, 3-1 of her last 4, including winning her last fight. has missed weight twice at 135 pounds. So definitely you may want to wait till Friday to check how these ladies look on the scales. 4-1 in Invicta, 2012 Pro MMA debut, 2 inches of height, and then she reach over Dumont. More active landing strikes. However, she's been outstruck in the UFC by 1.09 strikes per minute, minus 110. Your turn. Yep.
I'm taking Aldana. I know there's been some chatter in the Discord of people being excited about Norma Dumont, although I'm not necessarily 100% sure that's due to her fighting. But that, with that being said, I mean, those kids, those are our buds. I just think Irene Aldana is just too damn good on the feet, man. And you know, for all the people say about her losses in terms of her wrestling defense, first of all, she's only lost once in her last 4 fights, and that was against Amanda Nunes. And even in that fight, I think people forget how much her takedown defense held up in that fight. She stuffed 7 of 13 takedowns against Amanda Nunes. And like, not that, you know, giving up half of the takedowns that get shot on you is a good thing, right? Like, we can't like, but it was against Amanda Nunes. And like, do you think Norma Dumont is even like a fraction of that in terms of wrestling? I don't. And as far as on the feet, you know, like I'm thinking of some of Norma Dumont's performances on the feet, and like for some reason the Aspen Lad one just keeps like hitting me in the head. And like, if she comes with that kind of pressure, meaning not any, in fights Irene Aldana, like Irene will tear her apart. So I just think the hands are too fast. I think she's too clean on the feet. I think Norma Dumont's wrestling isn't quite what it needs to be in order to get to Aldana that way. So I'll take Irene Aldana here.
I would take Dumont here, not just for wrestling. Oh, good.
What are you taking a wrestler while I take a striker?
She's no, she's not. Oh, she doesn't look great on the feet, but this is bantamweight, so it doesn't really matter. Aldana gets hit a lot, and Dumont's got a bit of power. Has some knockdowns, but obviously she's better as a grappler as well. So I'll take a stab on a plus 100 dog. Oh boy, big dog for me. All right, that is it. Quick and simple 5 prelim fights. Let's recap it. Aldana for Gumby, Dumont for me. He has Bahamondes, I have Torres, and then it's a team ride. Jauregui, Van, and Rosas Jr. We'll be back tomorrow. We're not done. It's only half the card. Main card tomorrow and all our fancy plays as well. In the meantime, we shall be in the Discord as per usual, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Thank you for subscribing to our YouTube channel. We're almost at 1,000. I think we're at 69 away from it last time I checked. So very, very close. Thank you for subscribing to the MMA Gambling Podcast. Twitter, SGPN MMA. Gumby runs that for us. I'm Jeff Fox Writer. He's Gumby Relid. I'm Jeff Fox Writer on Instagram. If that's your jam, I've got a Substack. I got a pick'em contest running for this week's UFC. moneymma.substack.com. Free subscription gets you in the pick'em. Paid subscription unlocks all my articles, so you can get access to all the data I use for the podcast, like what percentage of fighters that miss weight win their fight, what percentage of female underdogs are winning this year, all that type of stuff. If that's your jam. And plus, obviously, other articles. Check out moneymma.substack.com. Gumby, Top Turtle MMA Podcast. Who do we have this week?
We're going to be talking to LFA headliner Mark Clamaco and Contender Series coming up next Tuesday, Elijah Smith.
We shall be talking about that Contender Series very, very shortly. Friday. Monday to Friday is our schedule until the Contender Series is kaput. So you can enjoy some more Contender Series on Top Turtle and on our podcast on Friday. And of course, go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com for all our writings, all our giveaways, all our discount codes, all the good stuff, all our podcasts, of course, videos. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/store so you can get sticky with us and get some gear. Sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Patreon so you can get some extra content. We'll be back tomorrow. It shall be Pure Chicali, Jeff Fox, El Nino Problema, Gumby Vreeland, and we'll talk to you then.